The broadcast is now starting. All attendees are in listen-only mode.
Hello, welcome everybody. It's the weekly Noyantis Usergroup Meeting, first one of 2018, so Happy New Year to everybody who's present and all users and everyone who's watching the recordings. Myself and John are your hosts, and as usual, if anyone has got any questions or ideas or points or suggestions or problems, then feel free to raise your hand and we'll open the mics up and cover your subject. So what I will quickly start with, we've just got a Happy New Year off David. Happy New Year, David. Thank you very much. So basically, yes, what we'll start with quickly before we go open the questions up and so on will be a quick update on the templates. So there's some good news and bad news on the next set of updates. The bad news is there's some updates to do with the command bars and to do with the report control and so on. The report control, the things that we covered in previous webinars, which were ideas and points put forward to do with, for example, the timeline mode and being able to set it into date mode and numeric mode and so on and so forth for the and time mode, for the track bar. Those type of updates and the command bar working off an actual queue. Now, some of that work's been done. It works really well, I'm pleased to say. But the bad news is both of those are going to be slightly held up because of another update that's coming to the whole product suite. And this is where the good news comes into it, especially for anybody who's been here regulars on here for a while, including I know John. And it's the good news is it's the creation of the resource template, the centralized resource template. That's taking priority. One, because it's overdue, and two, because I'm going to say, John, I take it that's music to your ear, so to speak.
Yes, indeed.
And the other reason was the way ABC classes work in Clarion is, especially in a multi-DLL application, is you would compile your main data app, and that would naturally export the class definitions. And we've touched upon this in previous webinars and so on. That exports the whole set of classes. And one of the pros and cons we've discussed in the past was if it exports everything, then you are free to use them in other procedures within the multi-DLL. That's a very big plus point, and you don't have to do any extra work for it. You just know that your central DLL will have exported them. There is a minor side. Now, I forget how the issue came about, but basically a customer of both ours and CapeSauce reported a particular issue to do with both companies, actually, and it's this exporting of the overall classes. And they were saying, I forget what the particular issue was, but the main point of the issue is because all classes were being exported, and I think there was a clash between a couple of different products. So I was chatting with Bruce before Christmas. He gave us some pointers, which I think Anna from Ice Tips had given him, to be honest. But yeah, Bruce took me through some of the points, and it's a very simple change, which will go into all of the classes. The ideal time, if we're going to do this, would be to naturally tie that in with this centralized resource, because it would have a change to how you add things to a multi-DLL. In a single EXE, there'd be no different. But in a multi-DLL, there would be a slight change. So it makes perfect sense to tie in those changes with our centralized CodeJoc template. So that is what's going to be taking precedence. Hopefully, by next Monday, by next Monday's webinar, we'll be in a position to actually maybe knock it around during the webinar, and prior to release. So if you are interested in it and you want to see it in action, next Monday is going to be hopefully famous last words. It's going to be the perfect time for us to basically put it through its paces, ready for release into the next major updates. And just so you can, anybody who's watching this and wondering what we're going on about, this new centralized template will be an addition. It's free, obviously, to the CodeJock users, to our CodeJock template users. And the idea is that you add it to your central data app. You specify certain settings, for example, what version of CodeJock are you using, what color theme are you going to be using, maybe what language you're going to be using, and possibly your license codes. You put them into one template, and then the other templates within the other apps will be able to read that data and use them accordingly. So that's the general plan of attack. So instead of currently, if you've got 20, 30 applications using, for example, command bars, which is quite common, then you would currently specify the themes in each of those apps, the licensing in each of those apps, the version in each of those apps. And if you ever went to change any of those, especially the version, then of course you're then going into repeating that 20, 30 times over. So the new way of doing it will make it much easier. Long overdue, as you know, many of us have discussed on here. So that's the next major update, which will go into the templates. So that's that. Any questions or feedback apart from hopefully acceptance and a good idea?
I'm so happy. This is the best Christmas present ever.
It would have been nice for today, I'll be honest with you. I started kicking it around this last week, doing some bits, a couple of little technicalities which I've still got to overcome. So basically, but the principles there, the ideas there, the technicalities are literally just to do with the template code, and wondering why something's not working and so on. But it does mean, as well as all the niceties of the versions and so on and so forth, you will be able to now not bloat the central data app with classes that you're not using. So basically, what you will do now is, if you're using, let's say, with command bars in a multi-DLL app, you would add it to the data, of course, because you're going to say, I need this and I want you to export it as a class. You would use it in whichever procedure you would want it on, and so on, which is quite common as you do now anyway. And then you would add it to the main menu. Apart from anything, one, it tidies up the ABC loader and basically the initializer and the killer. So it tidies that up, which is one of the things, like I say, we were discussing with Bruce, and I do thank Bruce for his input on it. It all makes sense, and it's good knowledge. And two, if you're using reg3com, you would have to add it to the exe anyway. So not a great deal of change for multi-DLL users, but it will make things a lot tidier, and you will probably see a decrease in the size of your data DLL.
Excellent, excellent, excellent.
So that's that. I've got one person saying there's no sound. Evidently, I presume others can hear me.
What did you say, Andy? I heard you. Sound is okay.
Saying there's no sound. I can hear you fine, David. So yeah. Question mark. Pass. I'll have to try and. Oh, hang on. He's saying there's no sound, but he's actually got no icons, nothing next to him. So microphone. So
probably needs to exit and log back in.
Yeah. I'm not sure how we would send a quick message to him. So it is. Yes, but I will quickly put it on here. Can you try exiting and?
No, he just exited. He went out, so he'll be
okay. Yeah. So that's that. Chillcat. There's updates. I promised plenty of updates on the Chillcat wrapper, and of course there are some more. There's some more on their way as we speak. The next set, which I did promise I would do a lot of work with, would be both the FTP/SFTP, and that was for Bill. And Bill, that is well in progress. The two support classes called SFTP, DIR, and File. Both of those are done, and the SFTP is already well underway to being done. So that support work is well underway. And that will be the next major update, along with a lot of help, a task helper for the Braining Gear, Andy. Google Calendar. Now I'm going to quickly take the open the mic up for David here, David Patterson. Hi, David.
Maybe.
Hi. First of all, a million apologies because I should have connected up with you last week, and then I should have connected up with you prior to today, just prior to this. I got the email through, but I was just so snowed under on a particular. I need to finish this webinar and then get in the car and drive up north to a meeting, and it's just a bit crazy. So I do apologise. But there is a task helper coming. I've just done some more work on my Google Calendar sync. Don't know if anyone uses the Google Calendar since doing the work last year and then brushing the cobwebs off it over the Christmas period. I noticed Google's gone and changed all their colour definitions for the calendar. So you used to have blue and bold blue, and now you've got, I think it's called indigo and lavender. They've given them all basically different names and different colour shades. So, but that's now been updated, or mine has been updated with the new equates for all of those. So you can use the old colours or the new colours. And the plan is, I can quickly demonstrate here but you've already seen it in action.
What's nice is at least they auto-assign those colors, so when you create the calendars, they auto-assign new colors for you, so you don't have to.
Oh, right.
About that. Yeah.
Oh, I'm going to say, in what respect then?
So, like, if you go to if you have your primary calendar,
right,
and then you create a bunch of sub calendars underneath it.
Yes.
Then it will color those it'll assign the colors for you. It makes
right.
unique.
Sorry, yes, I get that. I meant the actual, the colours of those, but they've also changed the colours of the events within the calendar.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. So let me just log in here.
What they do is they color those this color of the calendar itself. Do you know what I mean? So
there used to
let's
be.
say I add 5 calendars and one of them is teal.
Yep.
And then any event I add, it colors it teal.
Okay.
Unless I change it, I'm assuming. But I just thought I'd throw that in.
That's the default one, I take it.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm just going to get rid of.
If you don't specify one, which I didn't. I was going to ask you about that just for the some of the colors and the times, that kind of thing. But
well, just basically, this shouldn't load anything now. But I have got another calendar. Let me just put this in here. Got a Google Calendar here. So of course I should be able to go to this, add ABC. Forget this colour at the moment because it's just going to kind of ignore it. Put that colour in. We go to our Google, let's go to this week, and there's our ABC just gone in, and it's these colours here now, which are all different colours. So you can see that they've given sage and peacock. There's lavender, somewhat blueberry, so we can change it to blueberry. And this is now feeding back, as you can see. That ours has just opened and changed accordingly. So basically, yes, that work's done. This is as an add-on to the calendar product, our calendar template. This will be released in DLL form, and this is not going to be a million miles off. But I promise I'll get the other Chillcat stuff and the major Kojak centralized template out first. They must take precedence, and so on. So yeah, I've been a little busy, as you can tell. So, but the task, the helper class for this, basically, of course, anybody who doesn't want to go and buy the Kojak control and doesn't want to get their hands dirty and all the syncing and so on, and believing there's quite a lot of work to do on it all, but they do want their Kojak calendar with our wrapper template being able to sync, then there will be hopefully available, released in DLL form, an add-on product, so you can add synchronization to your applications automatically. Those who do want to do the programming, and I know David, you're one of them. You're already on it and working and so on. Then the task Google Calendar class will get padded out with a lot more for you. So there will be structures defined for both the calendars and the events and so on. And we can cover the tips and tricks during these sessions on how to do that syncing. But the task class will do a lot of helping for you. As anything, because you're then programming it yourself, it's over to you to implement it in a manner that you require. Of course, that's
Right.
That's why you're doing it, and so on. But we'll cover the help here and so on and so forth. This method here, what you're looking at, that's not that one. That's Google's. This method here, the way that's working is off the calendar is loaded off a queue, because you've got various ways of loading the calendar. You can load them yourself, you can load them via a group, and you can load via a queue. This is loaded off a queue. I've got another class, it's for a particular application, which is monitoring that queue, and then it is basically it looks at who's put what into the queue. So if my application's put an entry into the queue, my calendar class template has put an entry into the queue, then this other class will recognize it and act accordingly, go and synchronize it up to Google. Then that is monitoring for the Google changes coming back. That is then updating the queue and putting it into then the calendar class is then recognizing that change and reflecting accordingly. So that's the approach what this particular application is using as a demonstration. The DLL version, which will be released, won't use that. It will tie straight into the calendar class. So basically, during the initialization of the DLL, you will pass it the calendar class along with credentials of which Google calendar you want to go and synchronize with, and that will hook straight into the events from the calendar. So you don't have to worry about changing your loading methods and so on and so forth. It will just bolt straight in.
I got you. Okay.
So, but you've got a couple of options open. Like I say, for this one, because of the whole class for a particular application, then we need one central repository, which not just one, but 2 or 3 different entities can then read and write to this queue. And as well as having your queue of events, which of course, here's one here, and I can resize that, and I've got on the other window here. Of course, Google's just gone and resized accordingly. And I've got it on my phone, and I can move it around on the phone, and the Clarion app opens, updates accordingly. The reason for this is this app is not just going to go against Google; it's going to go against Office 365 as well. So now you've got one queue populating, basically populating and monitoring different calendars for different applications, 3G, Office 365, and Google, and the calendar itself in here, and you've got a reminder template added to the as an extension to the app frame, so those reminders are also being populated on the app frame. So the queue approach does work if you've got a lot of entities working with the calendar all at the same time. Then the queue approach can actually be quite beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
So just ideas. That's the whole point of these sessions. Right.
Yeah, I'm kind of doing mine in a batch, where it's being processed every 15 minutes, for a bunch of different people. But that might be, it might be able to just as simple as maybe just open up a calendar for each of them and then tell them to keep them in sync.
Well, you shouldn't necessarily have to open the calendar. For the example of that particular, this is the test app, obviously, but this is a test app for a bigger application which I'm working on for a particular client. Now, what would that? They want it so that the reminders still trigger when the calendar is open and so on and so forth, both within their application and of course on any devices which are monitoring Google Calendar. So by using that queue approach, you can have it doing that just off the app frame. So there's an idea for you as well, and that can just be real time. or however often you want the timer to really trigger. So you could say, okay, once a minute, go and track these, or once every 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then opening the calendar isn't really putting any greater workload on it, because it's just going to work off the same queue as the rest of the system is already working on.
So you're saying you wouldn't really even need the calendar in the...
You wouldn't need the calendar open. You would, well, technically you would have the calendar open, because if you add it on the app frame as an extension, like, for example, the reminder extension, then the calendar is actually open. You just don't visually see it, but it is there running and monitoring, which means if it's monitoring for, say you've tied into that same calendar your Google changes, then basically Google go off changing. That will be changing your data live without you opening the user would visually see as your calendar procedure. So when they did open it, it'd be up to date, or if they didn't open it and you just check the actual data files, that'd still be up to date.
Right, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
So again, different ideas, but we can cover these type of approaches. I mean, the loading of the queue calendar via a queue is there's pros and cons on all of them, as you can imagine. I can give pros and cons of why you would use it. Multiple calendars, definitely you could do that, but then again you can load via you can pass the class across as a parameter to a centralized load routine, which we've covered in the past during webinars. I think basically when we've got that bit, and we're especially with a task class helper, then we could do a session just on that, because it's quite heavy going. So we could do it during that session.
Okay, sounds good.
Okie dokie. Right. I am going to actually have to probably cut this today's short by about a good 15-20 minutes. So we'll go on to questions, and we have got a question off David. So let's open David up. Hi, David.
Happy New Year, Andy.
Happy New Year to you. Are you well?
Yes, good, thank you. Good, thank you. I'll try and keep this short. If you need to run, I can leave it and wait till next week.
No, we're good for a good 40 minutes yet, 40 odd minutes. So it's it's just traffic's going to be bad, unfortunately, and you know what British traffic's like, and yes. I need to get up to the other side of Liverpool by this evening.
Okay, all right. Well, actually, I've got another question as well, just triggered by some thoughts when you were talking to David there. Have you considered interfacing with Facebook Calendar as well?
Oh, I'll be honest with you. I didn't even know Facebook had a calendar.
Yeah, they have a complete events calendar, which actually has an auto sync to and from Google Calendar, if I remember correctly. I haven't used it very much myself, but it's just the way you and David were talking together, it sort of popped into my mind, and I thought I'd ask you quickly while I remember about it.
Well, obviously, no, because I wasn't aware. I mean, I know that you can create an event and say, I'm going to this event and so on and so forth, but as for a fully blown calendar type facility, no, I didn't know they had that. So
I think they do. I'm not certain. Because again, it's not something I've done either. But it just sort of popped into my mind as to whether you could do it and whether it would be helpful to sort of cover both Google and Facebook.
Well, like I say, the one particular requirement which I've got to cover is the Office 365 calendar and the Google. Now, the way I've already been doing some of the work is I've done the design, so the bulk of it, the design is already done, and it should tackle that. And if I wanted to bolt in a third, or let's say Facebook, again, it wouldn't be any great hardship, because the design is such that it should be able to handle that.
Yeah, that's what triggered me thinking of Facebook, to be honest. When you said you were doing Google and Office 365, it sort of made me think, well, that would then mean the calendar repository effectively is completely independent of the application. because you switch between Google and Office 365. If you sold it to one company and they used Office 365, you've got
Yeah.
covered. If you sell it to another company and they use Google, you can be covered, and so on and so forth. If you
I
make it
think that's
flexible enough to sort of go
approach.
through several things, yeah.
Yeah, that's the approach one of the clients wants to take. But then you're not truly tied. You've got a nice visual calendar interface, looking like this, like I say, this is a test app. But yes, more than this is very eye-pleasing and very usable. I use it in many of my apps. That's great from a desktop app point of view. But for syncing to the mobile devices and the web, the websites and so on and so forth, and the pads, then Google and Office are obvious candidates for that.
Yeah.
They don't want to be tied necessarily to just one. They want to basically edge the bet, so to speak.
Yes.
Which makes good sense.
Yes. Okay. All right. Well, it's just a suggestion that maybe it's something that for you to sort of look at a little tiny bit. I don't know if I've got time, I'll have a look at it myself.
I looked at the Facebook API, but I just can't remember. But then again, I looked at the Facebook API because that's one of the task helpers that we want to do. But I'll be honest, I was looking more at the posts and so on. I didn't really go dig in to see the other calendar, so I was looking more at reading the posts, updating the posts, so on and so forth, that type of thing.
Yeah. Okay. All right, it was just a suggestion. Anyway, I'll get onto my real question, which was, you remember the little app that you made for me some time ago when I wanted the docking panes to sort of go to the little tabs at the side of the screen?
On the left, yep. You sent a screenshot across and we did them. Yep.
I just saw something a couple of days ago which looked like a quite good idea and quite good design, and it was having sort of no text on the tabs and having just a little icon. And I was wondering if it's possible with the code jock tabs when they dock to the side like that to make them much smaller than they are at present and just have either an icon or an arrow for them to pop back out again, or are they fixed in a certain size?
Okay. Do you have a screenshot that we can quickly view?
It was on a video. That was the problem. It was somebody demonstrating a piece of software, and I just saw what they did, and it literally just went back into almost like a little ball at the side of the screen. In fact, in some respects, it's a bit like what the GoToWebinar little thing does when it shows the little arrow and the
I get
microphone and that when it goes back into the side.
Now I can't demonstrate that here because the GoTo hides its own control panel. But now I can't demonstrate because it's somebody's system I've worked on and I've not got permission, so I can't demonstrate. But there is. Let me go and show on one of mine.
Yeah.
Now this is my center software, which we've obviously mentioned a few times and we've used for ideas point of view and so on. Now that's the task panel, and this is very similar to the one we knocked around for yourself, which we had actions across the top and so on. Now, what I did for a particular another UI was you did have the task panel here, but you had a command bar down the left of this, and the task panel was directly related. The command bar had just icons, no words, and it was only probably 24 pixels wide, something like that.
Right.
So imagine this folded back. It was wider, it's probably a tiny bit wider than that, with just your icons. So this is like your GoToWebinar control panel.
That's it exactly. Yes.
Now, basically, but you did have a permanent area here. So imagine where the mouse is, say there. You did have a permanent area for the task panels. So you would have any number of options down here, the icons, and when you clicked on one of those, then the related task panel would view. Now they wanted that area to be permanently on show, but there's nothing stopping you having that hosting it in a doc.
Hiding and just popping out when you clicked on something and
exactly
clicked on the icon again, it went back in again. Yeah.
So the approach you would take there would be rather than use the app frame extension to place the command bar on the left or the task panel on the left, then add your own docked window. So
Right.
that gives you full control. So it's just and have it physically set to docked. That then tells Clarion's runtime that is docked area, and the client space is so much smaller.
Right.
So docked window. On that docked window, have a command bar set to be vertical instead of horizontal, and just have your icons, and have the command bar only so wide, 20 odd pixels wide, and so on, with your icons on it. Put the
Right.
window to that particular size by design. Sorry, not by design, at runtime, so it only opens that wide. And then
Right.
the folding out, I mean, because you're going to be opening and making the window wider or smaller yourself, you're gonna find it a bit hard to put the animation of the folding out and the unfolding. Like, this is nice to see fold
Yes.
out and let's just choose one of these. Yeah, so fold out and then go back, fold out and go back. You could do that, obviously, just do it on a very, very quick display between, and you can see it, but it's probably not going to be worth the hassle. But if you're after the facility where you've got just a small navigation with your major icons like these, yeah, you could do that. Obviously, when you wanted it to expand out, it'd be nice and easy. When you've clicked one of the options, fold it out with your task panel. When you want it to fold back, that'd be under your own control. I'd probably get it listening for a notification from your child thread, which would be basically minimize yourself, and then that way it knows to listen from any number. Well, if it's just listening for a notification, then any of your conditions of your child windows can go and post that to it.
Yes. Yep. No, I understand exactly what you're saying there, Andy.
So,
good suggestion.
So I would. That's how. Well, it's not how I would, because I've done it that way. But the only difference was the area was the width of the command bar and the task panel, because the task panel basically you always had an option open. So there's pointless folding it back because there was always an active option. Like when I opened this originally,
yeah,
there was no active option. So let's just go back in again. There is no active option, so if that's folded back, that's how I would expect it to open. And if you allow them to close their child option, you'd want it to go back. Maybe that's your thing. When they close the child, then fold back.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah. No, that sounds like it's pretty much what I'm looking for, Andy. Yes. Yes. Yeah. I just need to know, was it possible or not to decide whether I want to continue with it. Really.
I mean, we could. I've got any other questions? No other questions. Have I got was it on one of the webinars, or did I send? I mean, we've definitely got a source to it, but I just wondered, can you remember when we did it? And I can have a quick look and...
sometime around about November, I think.
Skeleton app. It's not that one, is it?
That was it. It's called Skeleton app, I think.
Oh, crikey. A bit wide.
Yes.
Was that it?
Yeah.
Right. Got an issue about it's opening that, but okay. Let's copy that forward and see about quickly knocking it around for a little time. If there's no other questions or requirements.
I'm not desperate for this though, Andy. You know, if you need to get off.
Oh no one's questioned. There's no questions, and we're good for, like I say, another half hour or so. So I'm happy if everybody else is happy. So we want our... No, it's on our end drive. While we're doing this, the YouTube channel of all our videos are fully up to date. Well, except for today, obviously. Okay, so on this we are using docking pane. Now, I was going to say the docking pane probably. The docking pane's not quite going to work for this. Or would it? Okay, let's have a look at our settings of this. Would you still want to use the docking panes to control the hosting of the child windows?
I think so, yes.
Okay. Okay, that's... Oh, you can tell that's not been updated. Bring that into that, and Office... no, it's Office 2010. We must have missed it off one. Which one? Oh, didn't see that one, sorry. Okay. So, we've got some kind of dead window there. I think it's on the... I think that is... Not knowing, obviously, how we left this, that's going to be...
Yeah.
I think it's the docking... I would have said that was the client area, actually. Okay, let's have a look at what panes we've got defined for our docking first off. So we've got an options pane, 250,000 to the right. Properties, these are just different panes, okay. Let's just take another look at that. This is some kind of other pane, just not sure what it is. Oh, there's our options. This will be our work pane.
Yeah.
And that should fold itself back. I think that was the last thing we looked at, folding them back over here. Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, well, let's, just for now, because we're going to focus on the others, get rid of those two if you don't mind.
No, that's okay.
So options and, was it shapes?
I think so.
We'll just have a quick look. Options. Properties. So we've got templates, which I'd expect to be that'll be the properties control and so on. What have we got on here? Got our work area. I would have expected to see some of these assigned, neighboured to the work. Oh, there you go. That's in there. Templates. Shapes is on work. And the about is on work. So clicking one of these, that should bring templates open, shapes open, and the about open. Okay. And we'll just get rid of the other things which were part of the window.
Okay.
Which was the property grid, because we just got rid of that pane. And report control, which was not sure what that one's used for. Docking pane command bars.
I think the report control, we were thinking about putting a browse on one of these windows at one stage when we were first doing it, but we ran out of time or something.
Okay, so that's the type of, we'll get rid of that wording as well. So
yeah.
Template shapes about. On our command bars. Template shapes. Insert, that's up at the top, okay. going to do the 1, 2, 3. And that one can just be an about icon. Yeah. Okay, we'll get rid of the wording, and that then starts looking a little more like what you're trying to achieve.
It's very similar to what I'm trying to achieve, actually, once you take the wording off.
So now we can leave the wording for the tip and so on, but we'll just control it via here, and we'll just say it's icon only. Same with that, we can have icon only, and the same with the about. Okay, so now what we're after is, if that is open, you want, now that's a browse procedure, that's a window procedure, I should say. Was it? Oh no, it was a control. Yours is going to be a procedure, is it not?
Yes.
Yeah, that's just got, right, okay, that's no problem. We'll have a couple of new procedures. One called templates. It's very simple, just a window. And child window, and just so we know what it is, the title's going to be, we'll put it, but it's going to get rid of it in a minute anyway. And on that, we will just put a prompt so we know which one it is. So that's our templates procedure running there.
Yes.
On there, got our docking pane to say, right, you can be used. So that one, you can be used. It's going to hide the title and so on. And just for good measure, we'll put a resize template on there, so our other thing will resize accordingly. Copy that to shapes. So that should give us our shapes window, yep. And then we'll just we'll say for those two options, so we've got our command bars. Our command bars should, let's say for that one, the template, on the actions, select a docking pane called templates. And the shape will, again, select a docking pane called shape. So we want to put our actions onto the pane itself. And then when it comes into focus, this wants to, instead of being a window control, wants to be a Clarion procedure called templates. And the shapes wants to be a Clarion procedure instead of a control called shapes. We'll just get rid of these two buttons off here. Let's see, now that's linked to them in for us. Have a quick compile. One of them must have been, so it does it automatically. Have a look at why. But basically, templates, shapes, template, shapes. These are the Clarion procedure now.
Right.
So now what we're saying is, if you clicked on, let's say templates, we'll stick with that one. We want, what do you want to appear? It's your app. Would you see it as a task panel or a shortcut bar or a shortcut bar? Container task panel.
Task panel.
Task panel. Okay. From a design point of view, would the task panel be part? I see you could cheat here. Would your task panel be part of this window, or would it be part of your navigator, which we've got a host window. Would it be part of that host window? See, if that task panel is only really the options for this screen, then
Yes.
you could just put it as part of that screen. For example, in here, we add, we haven't got the task panel, so let's quickly just add it. Task panel 18.2, Office 2010. Okay. So on our templates, you could add it. Let's just pull that there. Put a task panel on here. We'll put it at 0, 0. We'll give it a width in a second, but we'll give it full height. We'll just pull that across there. Okay, let's give that kind of height. That kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we will, just so we know we're on this, give it some groups, and we'll just say we know, so we blatantly know we're on the template one. I'll say we'll give it a group of templates with a couple of items on it. Item 1. Item 2. Now I'm actually going to get rid of that shapes, and I'm going to recopy that and call it shapes.
Okay.
Just to give you an idea of what we could do.
Yeah, a lot of this is concept, Andy, me understanding what's possible.
Yeah.
Because I'm quite new to all these controls, and understanding what the various options are and what I can manage to achieve with this is it's quite hard at times getting your head around what possibilities exist.
Okay. Well, this will give you again. I think it could work for you. So now when it opens, I said to resize. We don't really particularly want it to resize our task panel. That's a bit. I think that's just for our task panel. Just tell it not to. We will just make sure our task panel's got enough room there. And the same with the template one. So it will take on the full height, and it will take on the template, the width of what we've defined.
Yes.
So now, as we switch between these two, you get to see, now I should have really painted them the same width so that you don't see any change.
Yes.
But
yes,
now, you're now getting your task panel, which is directly related to what we put on here. So we had a browse, and they would be the child items for that particular browse, and so on and so forth. You switch to that option, and it looks like it's seamless.
Yes, it does.
So
that's very nice.
And of course,
that's pretty much what I'm looking for, Andy. Actually.
And if you did have a close option on this, remember this is a Clarion window procedure. If you did have a close option on this, when that closed, that would disappear because it's giving it wouldn't be folding back, but basically that would disappear, of course, because it's part of that window definition.
I've got you. Yes.
Yes,
that's not exactly sort of how I initially imagined it, but I can see that working for the sort of thing I'm trying to achieve. Yes.
Okay. I mean, one thing, it all looks a bit blocky actually. I can see. Let's just see if we can tidy up some of that. It was like, I don't think the task panel had a particular frame on it. Let's just go the whole log from a demonstration point of view, make it a bit neater. Width is 185, and the appearance on the task panel border none. That's good. That's what I'm after. Templates. Oh. Yeah, that would. hang on, that couldn't have been 185 on the other one. I was reading what I wanted. 118, sorry. Make sure that appearance is set to none. Border, yep. Yep. So then we make out there our windows looking quite similar. Let's just have a look at our docking. What appearance have we got on this? Okay. Maybe it's on those windows. It's just still look like we were getting just a faint line around. I think maybe it's still on those windows. These are just little tips. Any of us could do these, but let's just take these so that they're not resizable. We don't actually give them a frame. No, we're still getting one down here. But yeah, that'd be
No, that's very, very
from
close
a
to
concept point of view.
Yes.
You wouldn't get the folding back of this, but at least you get it directly related. So you would have normally here, let's face it, maybe a command bar across the top, a browse, report control. Actually, so utilize all of that kind of technology. You could even host this in a docking pane. You could go one step further if you wanted to. In fact, that's the ultimate. What we will do is, let's say on the templates, we will put a list. Okay, so what we will do is we'll go one step further to give you the concept. We'll put a report control on here. Sorry, a docking pane on here, which will take. So this is the docking pane on the child window.
Yes.
And we're going to have a report control on there, which would normally be a Clarion browse, maybe with enhanced or whatever. But so you've got that, and we will, for good measure, have a field picker on there as well. Now, I'm not going to do all the painting of those.
Yes.
What I'm going to do is tell the docking to take charge of all those. So we're going to have, we'll call it TP for task panel, but with navigation, irrigation. We want it to be 10% to the left, and its content is a code job control, and it's going to be the task panel. Then we want, on that, we want our report control, no title, and we're going to say, oh, I never did the options on the other one actually. Pane cannot be closed, cannot be, no, I forget that. Cannot be docked. Let me folded. That's fine. We will have a report control. To the right. And just trying to think. Its content is the report control. And then to the right of that would be the field picker for the control. Again, we're not bothered about, well, we'll give it a title, fields. Cannot be docked. It doesn't have a title, but it does have, and you'll see what I'm doing here. It wants to originally open as closed, and it does want a caption when it's for the tab.
Okay. Yes.
and that wants to be its report control. And we need to link our report control, our field picker, to our report control. So now let's just take a quick look at that. Oof, I've missed something. Attach field picker. Field picker. Report link to that. So it wants to link to report control, not field picker. So if we go to our templates, I've not told it on that pane. That should have been a report control field picker, and the report control was just set to report control. Yep. Sorry about that. So if we take a quick look at that, now you can fold that back within that window.
Yes.
You've got that, and you can fold out your fields should you need them.
Excellent. This is one of those webinars where I'm going to have to go to YouTube and watch it a few times. Andy.
I covered it really fast, and I really apologise both for yourself
No. You did it excellently. It needs following through slowly while you're working on it.
Well, let's have a
sure you
recap.
understand everything. Yeah.
On this window, we've just got a Clarion window with a prompt on it, resize and so on, taking Clarion's resizing, with a task panel fixed on the left, and it will always be that fixed. On this window, we said, okay, we still want that task panel, but we're going to let docking panes actually handle the content of this. This isn't the docking panes of the overall app. This is because you've got a docking panes running at the master level, at the app level, if you will, or a docking host, if you will. And then within this window alone, we've now got docking panes again, but running the content of this window. So you've got like two docking masters, if you will, a master for this window and a master for the overall app. So for this window, we said we'll have 3 panes. One to the left, we will have it with a title and have it dockable.
Yes.
And that its content will contain the CodeJock task panel.
Yes.
Then we had a pane to the right, which was the report control, and we didn't put any content in it, but there's would be our report control. And then we said we'll have a further pane to the right of that, but we'll have it closed by default because it's a field picker. We only want it coming out every so often, and its content would be the field picker. So that would allow you to pick your fields, put them to your report control, and fold itself back, so it's not taking any real room up. So, and then the user could resize their task panel because it's being controlled by the panes.
That's really excellent, Andy. Between this and the other app that you sent me before, that's a whole host of user interfaces covered there. That's really nice.
Okie dokie. I've got a quick question. Can this webinar be accessed on Clarion Live? Yes, yes, Richard. It can do. We post on our YouTube. We did used to. I'll be honest. We used to post on Clarion Live all the time, and should really do, and it should do still. It was just basically we started putting them up to a YouTube channel, and that really became the default. But yeah, I can put onto Clarion Live if you like. That's not a problem. I suppose it's just. It became lazy for myself because it was the YouTube. I could just it's so easy. But on one or the other, it's not a problem. So yes, no problem, Richard. Any other questions? If not, we are going to wrap up a little early. But we're still all right for a few minutes. If anyone's got any questions, fire away. So Richard's just saying, I've been trying to find the recorded webinars on the Clarion Live and can't find them. Clarion Live should be wiki. Is it not Clarion Live?
ClarionLive.wikispaces.com.
ClarionLive.wiki. Oops. Thank you. And under there, I think you've got third-party recordings somewhere. Yeah. No. User group meetings. So on the left there, you've got recorded webinars, user group meetings, Noyantis user group meetings, and yeah, it looks like we put them up there up until, crikey, did we stop in May? That's earlier than I thought, to be honest.
Well, show me a YouTube thing.
So that's that one. And if we go to YouTube, and if you just do a search for Noyantis, oops, and you'll get all the user group meetings in there, but you should also get playlists per month. So yeah, so there's one per month, as you can see, one per meeting, and so on. But there should be the playlists. I'm trying to see where the actual playlists are.
Why don't you click on the top right?
Well,
right
that's logged in. Actually, it's logged in as my dev account rather than the admin account.
Log out and then find it.
Mm-mm-mm.
Just sign out, and then you can see what it looks like to other
Actually,
people.
I was saying admin. That is my admin one.
Yeah, log out. Just log out.
We'll both go to. No, could have thought it's there. History, so on and so forth. Show more. Nope, that's just them. Yeah, that's fine. Like I say, but I can't see where the logout is.
Right there, sign out. About 4 down.
Yes. Sorry. Okay, so that should take me out of that account. So we are just Joe Public. Okay.
Oh, jeez.
I agree. I don't have much choice. I will agree.
I don't agree.
No, I answer. But yeah, I mean, I still expect to see the same. But you should see they are the playlists anyway, and they're basically.
You do it. Andy, you're doing a search, so it's just showing you a search result. So click at the very top where it says Noyantis Software, 7 subscribers, 38 videos.
Right. Yeah, perfect. Yeah. Thank you. There, you can see I don't really use it. I'm the flip side of it.
Yeah.
You didn't. I don't think you even spelled Noyantis right. Anyway, no, you did.
Of course, I hope I did. Been typing it for 10 years. Wouldn't
that be bad?
We're our 10th year as a third-party supplier.
Yay!
In June, we'll have to have some celebration in June.
It's just as old as Clarion Live.
Clarion Live. Yeah.
It is actually. No.
Pretty close.
It's close. Yeah, it's probably about 12 months after.
That's all.
But yes, basically there's your playlist, and it's one per month. So October was quiet, but it was a DevCon, so so on. So if you go into that, you'll get all the Decembers and so on and so forth.
Then you'll have a January one here soon. Yep. Sweet. Whoa, you got some other questions.
Yeah, just so. Now, I'm not going to reveal because just posted a particular code, but Patrice is trying to install the CodeJock templates and getting this window.
Never mind.
Oh, okay. Yes. Yeah. When you purchase the CodeJock controls, you will get a particular serial number off them, for which is when you go into your account and you do your download. That will give you a serial number. That's just a serial number for the installer on its own.
You can't see the window.
Can't send you the window. Well, basically,
I can't see.
Let's just show you one of the particular installers. So. Now, what would it be under? The admin. So I'm not going to reveal mine, but let's say we were going to do an installer. We would run the installer for the CodeJock. It will eventually come up. There you go.
It's asking for a disk, he says.
Asking for a disk. Sounds like the installer's not downloaded correctly, and it's only part there. but you would go for an install. You would get a serial number from the CodeJock website. You get a serial number. That is a serial number that you would enter there. After that, once it's installed, within your CodeJock folder. Now, again, I'm not going to open my physical files, but within your CodeJock folder, once it's installed, you'll get something like this. So it would be your program files x86, CodeJock software ActiveX, down to a particular version. And in the bin folder is where you would find your OCX, but you also got a .lic file for each of the controls. That contains 3 lines. They are the lines that you would put into your global extension template. The first 2 can be auto-calculated and usually are auto-calculated for you if you use a predefined CodeJock version on the global extension. The third one is the third one from here. So oh, go on.
Do you want to get him online, see what his actual question is?
Can do, yeah. If it's
I don't know. He doesn't have a phone thing here. Sorry.
Yeah, I mean he's dialing in, but I mean I know Patrice will work with me on some stuff, so not a problem, Patrice. If you run into problems, drop me an email and we can just connect up and I can go to your system and walk you through it. That's not a problem without publicly revealing all your license information, so that's not a problem.
Okay.
But if it's asking for a disk, that does sound like it's a corrupt download. So
try and download again. He's sending you an email with the issue. Okay.
No, I shall take a look.
Screenshots would be helpful.
So
we. All right.
Okay.
Anything else for the Andy? I've done it twice. Oh, 3 times the charm. No, I'm kidding.
Emails not come through yet.
Did you already send your? Did you already send the email so he can kind of see it on his side, so he can maybe reveal what the issue might be?
I'm not seeing no emails come through yet. Just to quickly check it again.
Okay, while you're waiting, David Watson's back on. I have a. Oh no, that's an old one, right?
Yeah. No, we've covered that. We just did this.
Okay, let's clear that one.
Yeah, I'm all clear.
Yeah.
No problem. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. David,
I don't think he's saying he's emailed us twice. I think what he's saying is I've done twice. I presume he's saying he's tried the download twice.
Yeah, he tried it twice. That's why I said 3 times the charm, so that it'll work the next.
Yeah, there's a particular some of the training videos from CIDC. They're quite they're large. I use Setup Builder, and they're quite large installers because the size of the video, what's in them, and a couple of the downloads. They think they've finished, they've ran, but you get so far and it asks for disk 1 and then disk 2 and so on. That's basically just a corrupt download. Although you think it's all there, it's not. So I would just try the installer again.
Okay.
Okay.
Any luck, Patrice? No? Okay. All right.
Well, without further ado, I'm going to have to cut it short. Like I say, I've got to finish up tidy up of this and then head up to up north ready for a meeting tomorrow. So sorry about that. Oh, hang on. We'll try again and send you the pic. That's great. Well, Patrice, apart from when I'm driving, obviously, I'll be on the email later on. So by all means, drop me the message, and I'll reply accordingly as soon as I've got the email.
Gen 4.
Cool. And Arnold, we were saying at the start of the webinar that we're going to be starting a concerted effort to get the centralized CodeJock template, the resource template, done. So next week we should hopefully be taking a look at that. Do you know much about that?
No.
No? Okay, well, tune in next week and you'll see it.
Well, I
John,
like to
John will call you in because he's probably actually the original planner of it.
I like surprises. I don't have to know everything. Okay, cool.
Okay. Well, Thank you
Over
again,
and out,
everybody,
right?
for attending, and I shall see you, if not before, I'll speak to you all next week.
Ciao.
Okay. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody. Cheers.